Hello and welcome to the Passion Driven Pioneers interview series. I'm your host, John Channon, and today I'm joined by Cole Sicheneder, who is the founder and CEO of Miller Creek Lawn and Landscape. Cole, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, John.
Yeah, would you like to just get us started with a brief background as to who you are, what you do, and then the business that you're in?
Yeah, so obviously my name's Cole Sicheneder. We're in design, build, and maintenance of outdoor spaces, so landscaping essentially. Um, I guess I started a company, CHS Superior Landscaping, just just under 5 years ago at this point. And then we recently merged with another landscaping company, Miller Creek Lawn and Landscape, which we now operate by. So I am not the founder of Miller Creek. I am the founder of CHS. But we took that name over through kind of through that recent merge.
Okay, great. So, talk to us a little bit about what was a spark that led you to get into this type of business and take that initial entrepreneurial leap?
Well, the initial spark was it was COVID. I was in college during COVID and classes were online. And one of the only industries that really wasn't coming to a halt at that point was outdoor work, like service-based business, because you can't go without it. So I jumped into that because it's pretty much all that I knew at that point. But when it comes to like the spark and the inspiration, I mean, it started from a young age too. I mean, when I was in grade school, I had like a little Pokemon card business where I would buy and resell Pokemon cards. And I was always the kid to be out there on the lemonade stands, like literally almost every single weekend, hammering away at lemonade stands. And then in middle school, I remember my mom used to drive me around in the neighborhoods and I would like mow the neighbors' lawns for a few bucks. Didn't even have a license at the time. She would drive me around. And then in high school is when I actually kind of started to like really notice things and become a parent of it. And I had a shoe cleaning and reselling business. So I think that was the initial spark, but the initial spark of what Miller Creek is today was when COVID hit in college. And I had some more time on my hands when classes were online. And I just took advantage of it and did what I love to do and what I knew best because I've been landscaping since I was like 14 years old, pretty much.
That's great. I appreciate the Pokemon story too. I've got a grandson that loves Pokemon right now. He hasn't got into the cards yet, but he loves Pokemon. So
Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! I did a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Reselling too.
nice. So entrepreneurial from a very young age, it sounds like.
Yeah, somewhat. I didn't realize that, but looking back, definitely. Yeah.
So what was it like getting this business up and going at the beginning? Like,
Uh,
what skills did you bring to the table and lean on? And then what were some of the things maybe that as you started to grow this business, you realized you needed to add?
well, the skills that I brought to the table were my ability to network and communicate with people. That was pretty much all that I brought to the table, because I was 20 years old. So I didn't have much else. I was going to school and I was bouncing around to multiple different majors, really trying to find out what I liked and what I wanted to do with my future. So I didn't bring a lot of initial skills to it, but I learned really quick what it took. I mean, I was sleeping on the floor for multiple months in our previous office, just like getting it off the ground, because I didn't have the money to pay the rent for a place to live and an office, so I had to choose the office. And so sleeping on the floor for that. There was a second part to your question. I can't remember what it was.
Well, what were some of the skills that you ended up kind of recognizing you needed to add as you were kind of growing this business?
Well, leadership is a must. Sales is a must. Um, and design was totally a must because we quickly moved from just like your basic lawn care and cleanups to really designing outdoor spaces. And that eye for making something come from nothing was something that I needed to teach myself, and I needed to teach myself how to use CAD programs and design programs on the computer. So it was a very quick learning process that took pretty much every waking hour of every day, I would say.
So you talked a little bit about design, but you also mentioned leadership and sales. So how did you
Yeah.
add those skills to your repertoire?
Oh man, reading, lots of reading. Consistently, there was a period of time. Um, probably an entire year where I read 10 pages of a book every single day. I just dedicated myself to read 10 pages of a book every single day. And most of those books were related to, they were self-development books. So they were like leadership books, they were sales books, they were marketing books, they were anything related to business. I just designated like however long it took. I'm a slow reader, so normally it was like 30 minutes a day to read 10 pages. But I didn't just read them. I marked them up and I almost used the book as like a notepad, and really just like analyze the words on the pages. And that was how I learned that in videos, honestly.
That's great. Any particular books that come to mind at the beginning there, or?
I am so bad with the names of books. Like I've read so many books.
Yeah.
Buy Back Your Time was a really good
Hmm.
book. Um, there was one by, and I'm totally blanking on the name, and a lot of people will probably end up knowing this one, but it's by Robert Kiyosaki. It's man, I forget the name of it. The E-Myth was another really good book. Um, Robert Kiyosaki wrote a really good book, and it was about investing not only your time, but just like into markets too. But I'm totally blanking on the name right now.
That's all right. We'll figure it out. I'll post it when I post it in the overview when we do this.
I'll get back to you on it. I'll
Oh,
Google it after this and know it immediately.
so talk to us a little about work-life balance as a business owner. Do you have any kind of personal rituals or habits that kind of keep you motivated and focused in that aspect of your life?
Um, there, at least for me, there really honestly isn't a work-life balance. It's probably
Okay.
not the feel-good answer that most people want to hear, but there isn't a work-life balance.
You're
Like I
not the
do
first
have
person I've
personal.
heard say that on this show, by the way.
Well, that's maybe because I am very driven to live out our vision, I would say. But like I have personal habits, I guess, like working out and going to church and things like that. But in the end of the day, it all kind of ties back to what I do in business. Like when I work out, I don't do it because I want to work out. I do it because it's hard and because like I continuously tell myself that I have to continue to do really hard things to be able to make it where I want to go. And that starts at the ground level of waking up early in the morning and working out right off the bat. When it comes to going to church, I mean, at least in my personal opinion, and just the way that I was raised, you're not going to make it anywhere in life without faith in like a higher power. So I certainly need that in my day-to-day life. So those are kind of two, I guess, getaways, but they're not really getaways because in the end of the day, I'm always thinking about business and I'm always relating it back to what I do. So it all ties together. In my answer, there is no work-life balance, but maybe people will find that different.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you sharing that and being real with it. That's really
Yeah.
good. Now you mentioned something as you were commenting on that. You said live out our vision. Would you mind sharing your vision? Uh,
Yeah, I mean,
Viewers?
in the end of the day, it's to be the trusted landscape company throughout the Midwest, by providing like the best quality service, elevating outdoor spaces, and operating around quality and passion. Like that's really the vision of Miller Creek is to grow to be the Midwest. Like right now, we're northern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin, but our goal is to continue to expand throughout the Midwest, and just operating around those values of innovation and quality and passion. That's the vision of the company. That's what we're all about.
Well, thank you for
I try my
sharing.
best to portray that throughout the company too. I mean, it's in our handbook and we cover it during our initial training at the beginning of every single year. But I think that's the most difficult thing is really incorporating that into all levels of the company.
That's good. Well, I really appreciate you sharing the vision there and the vision about the Midwest, right? So it's really important to have a clear vision of where you're headed and what you want to do, right?
Yeah.
That's critical. Um, let's see, let's kind of shift gear a little bit and talk about, what are some of the things you guys are doing to stay kind of innovative or adaptable to change in your space?
Um, Encouraging feedback. We do leadership meetings, and the biggest thing is encouraging feedback, whether positive or negative. Negative feedback always brings opportunity for change and ways that we can continue to develop um, and implement strategies so that we don't continue to get that negative feedback. And then I think it just comes from the collaboration at those meetings too.
Hmm.
So I guess it revolves around two different things, encouraging feedback and collaborating, and that's done by working together as a team. And reflecting too. Reflecting is a big thing on what worked and what didn't work and how we can, if something didn't work, well, is that thing flat out a bad idea, or are we not executing on it right? And then taking a step back to look at that too and reflect.
All right, cool. So let me ask you basically a little magic wand question, right? If you could wave a magic wand and change one thing about your business, is there anything that you'd change about your business?
No, not in the stage that we're at. No. I think that everything plays out how it's supposed to. And I think that we're in a really good spot right now, and our team is absolutely phenomenal. And we've got a lot of systems and processes that are in place. You know, they're version one of 100,000. We're going to have to revise all of our systems and processes hundreds, if not thousands of times. But I don't know, nothing specifically comes to my mind. Right off the top. I think we've got a phenomenal team and we're all working really hard towards the same goal. And I don't know. I mean, it shows. It shows in our daily operations. Like when guys come in the morning, it's in and out, and we're heading out to the job sites. And when I come in the morning, it's straight to what I need to do. And it's the same feeling across the entire company. Like everybody is working towards bettering themselves and bettering what we're doing. Um, I can feel it every single day.
Yeah, it sounds like a really solid culture that you've built there.
Yeah, we're working on it. And that's the toughest thing after a merge when you bring two different companies together. We're working on it, but it's good. It's getting there.
So, how could you offer us a glimpse maybe into future plans and goals that you have for your business? I mean, we talked a little bit about it with your vision statement, but maybe more so in the next few years.
Yeah, in the next few years, there's a few different plans. We're currently working on moving into more like that commercial sector, commercial landscaping, because we've always been really focused in residential. So last few years, we've been using and putting a lot of time into developing relationships in that sector. Finding where those relationships are has really been this year, and then working on developing those relationships. So we do want to continue to work towards the goal of being the Midwest premier landscaping leader. And to do that, there's only, well, in my eyes, you have to expand into the commercial markets too. So within by next season, we're hoping to have like a 80-20 split between 80% residential and 20% commercial. By the following year in 2026, we want to have our full commercial. Well, I guess the following year, as in next season, we want to have a commercial division opened up, at least one crew installing commercial consistently. That would be in an ideal world. By 2027, we are aiming to have an entire commercial division opened up working with the unions at that point. So not only a commercial division, but a commercial division that is partially designated towards union work. Um, and then 3 years down the line, we hope to establish another location in this area.
That's great. You know what I want the audience to recognize is that you just put together a very clear plan for the next series of things that you want to do and the timeline that you want to achieve it. And that is super important from a business perspective to have that level of clarity and then that level of focus,
Yeah.
right? And recognizing that, hey, I can't just jump into this. I need to take this in stages. So I
Well,
sincerely appreciate you really sharing that.
yeah, a growth plan is 100% necessary. You have to have, otherwise, what are you working towards? If you don't have a plan, what are you working towards? You're just doing your day-to-day stuff, and there is no plan for what you're working towards and what everybody's working so hard to get to. So to have a plan, not only in your mind, but on paper, like my growth plan is on paper. And I look at it consistently and revise it as things change too, because things do change. But I mean, a growth plan is 100% necessary, and um, everything that we've had on our growth plan over the last 4 years since we've been in business, we've executed on. So that really shows how important that is.
That's great. I mean, that's a great example for the audience. So knowing that this show is going to be targeted towards people that are either thinking about starting up a business or maybe in their first few years of business, do you have any final thoughts or words of advice you'd like to share with our audience today?
Um, well, just an overall, I guess, understand what you're getting yourself into. If you actually want to build and grow a business, the level of commitment it requires to do that is not for the faint of heart. I mean, if you're just looking to get into like a sole proprietorship, you're your own boss, you make your schedule, but when it comes to building, like growing a business and building a business, you're not your own boss. Your boss is your team and your clients. And there's a level of commitment to where, I mean, I just told you there is no differentiation for me between work and personal life. It's my personal life is this business pretty much. So understanding that level of commitment that it requires to build that, um, and then getting more into the weeds just on like I guess a little specific nitpicky thing that could be really helpful for people is um, understanding what predatory loans are and
Hmm.
not falling for them. And what predatory loans are is they're those are the people that you get the random cold email from that are like, hey, I have $1 million available for a payback of 60 months. And really what they are high interest short term loans from loan sharks, people in New York on Wall Street, and they're trying to get you. So never fall for those. If somebody tells you that they have $100,000 secured and you can get it tomorrow, that's about the worst decision that you can make because that's one of those predatory loans. And they hide a lot of information in those documents that you don't recognize. And thankfully, I got that information from a business advisor when I was young and starting off. But that's totally something that I've avoided and highly recommend that people understand what those are when they get into business and how to avoid them.
Yeah, I generally recommend, you find a nice local or regional bank, work with a commercial lender at that bank, right?
Yeah.
You need money, they know how to help you, and they're interested in the success of small businesses in their region or in their local communities, and that's probably the best place to go and start.
Yeah, or creative funding or financing. I mean, like going to friends and family or even investors, like clients, and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, a client is investing in your business when they make a purchase from you. And some people may love your services enough. We had a client who loved our services enough that reached out to me and said, I'm willing to give you money for the startup. No equity in the business, nothing. He was just willing to give me money because he liked me that much and he wanted to ensure that we were there to provide future services for him.
That's
Um,
awesome.
and yeah, so there's like creative little funding and financing options like that too.
That's great. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time today, Cole.
Yeah, not a problem, John.
Yeah, it was great meeting you, learning more about your journey, and to everyone watching, I look forward to seeing you in our next episode.